So amongst all the craziness of the start of the season, we're still really heavily involved in a lot of mechanic work. And so I just want to kind of give a quick idea of a couple things that we've been working on later in the winter, if you call it, since these should have all been winter projects. But one thing we're doing right now is we had a wheel seal leak on our Massey, and this required ripping the tire off and really getting down to the nitty-gritty of some stuff on it. What I'm getting at is that throughout the season, things obviously break, things go wrong, things wear. It's inevitable, especially with older machinery. So really keeping them in shape, especially in the off season, is really crucial and beneficial, because if I let this wheel seal go and all the oil leaked out of it and all those gears in there, instead of having $100 worth of parts into there, I'd probably be a couple $1,000s worth of parts into that tractor. And that could have really harmed the rest of the gear system in it, the rest of the drive axle with the tractor. So I noticed this last fall. It was probably late October into November, and we kept going with it throughout the rest of the season because we knew the tractor wasn't going to be run all that much, so it wasn't going to be moving a lot. I wasn't concerned. So we've got it in the garage here. My good friends down the street are helping me rip this apart and get it back together because it requires some decent mechanic work, which I don't have all the knowledge of, which is fine. So that's one thing we're doing right now. Secondly, we're gonna rebuild our sprayer here a little bit. The PTO pump on it is worn, it's old. So we're gonna replace that, replace some lines, and get this thing in shape to be using this pretty soon. And we'll talk a little bit about sprayer calibration, which is really, really important for a couple reasons, but we'll get into that with another video. And the last thing is our little BCS rototiller here, but we use this a lot in the high tunnels between plastic rows, etc. This is a really important little machine for us, so changing all the gear oils, changing the engine oil, obviously, blowing out your air filters, you name it. Just go through all your machinery, whether it's in the spring before the tractor's got to get into the field, or right after your season in November and you want to rip things apart and get after it. Just make sure you do that, because you might bring this in the garage and turn some lights on and notice that there's a couple other things you need to fix on this and you never even saw it. So, fortunately, I try to keep up with everything as much as possible, and I'm not a perfect mechanic, but this tractor is from the 80s and it's one of the best running machines I have around here, so we'll keep her running. Stay tuned for more videos. We are jumping more into the field. The greenhouse is flourishing now, and hopefully pray for some warm weather here. This wind and cold nights is really not feeling like spring, but what are you gonna do? It's New England, right?